Hello guys, welcome to my video, my first game video, and today I wanted to share a gameplay walkthrough of this relatively new game that just came out maybe a month ago. It's called, in Chinese, it's called 鬼谷八荒, and in English I think it is being translated to Immortal Story, which I don't think is necessarily the best translation for the game. Uh, it is. I've played it for maybe 3-4 days, and it's been a fantastic and addictive sort of experience. And I wanted to, give you guys a sort of relatively fast-paced um, uh, English translation of the key storyline and the key mechanics of the game. I will sort of give you the bare bones of the game, and if you've been using Google Translate or whatever software to get through the game as a non-Chinese speaker, I'm really impressed. Good on you. But I think I could help you a bit by offering this sort of translated commentary, right? And I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys I hope my videos make the game more accessible to you until the game comes out in English, which I don't know when, because the game is based on Chinese mythology, and there's a lot of Taoist or mythical jargon that I don't think anyone would be able to do a good job translating. So I don't know when they will release an English version, if ever, right? So here in the first interface, you'll see this beautiful sort of picture, but also enter the game, achievements, options, right? Very standard options, key settings that you can just try out on your own. Leave the game, and this is sort of a way to save your file if you don't want to sort of corrupt or erase a file or save that you think is pretty good for at where it is, and you wanted to just play it differently from how you are playing it, and then you could just load it from a different folder. I can show you that later on. This is a list of public announcements. Again, no English. And the game's development plan. I'm quite impressed with the rate at which they're developing the game. It's still very early access, and they're making the game. There's a lot of content that hasn't been released, and they're working pretty hard, I think, on releasing the latest developments. And these are the plans for March and what comes after, right? So without further ado, let us begin. So these are the characters that I've created early on in my own off-camera gameplay. Let's create a new one. So these are the 5 difficulties that you could select, and they basically offer variations of resources, character creation talents, monster strength, and so on. So I'm just going to go ahead and pick the normal difficulty. So in the character creation page, there are 2 set of selections that you can make. One is the sort of appearance and character, and then attributes, which affect game mechanic, sort of gameplay mechanics. So in terms of external appearance, I don't really care, as long as it's it looks somewhat passive. So you can pick either male or female, right? The female characters tend to look a lot better, but come on, give me something workable. Okay, this is not too bad. Let's change the hair. So front of the hair, back of the hair. This is how you will look in the gameplay, in the combat setting. So let's go with this one. Doesn't look too bad. You can have hats or no hats. I'm gonna go with no hat. You can change the eyes a little bit. I'm just gonna go with these eyes. Eyebrows. Actually, I might. It's not too bad. A little bit of a smirk. Maybe a little bit. I don't know. Does it look too evil to you? I think this is pretty good. Clothing or body proportions. I think this is not bad. I'm gonna play with swords. So 3 swords. 3 swords is not bad. I mean, this is, of course, it doesn't really affect any real game mechanics. Maybe change the clothes a bit. This doesn't look too bad. Maybe front of the hair. Yeah, I might be playing with this too much, but oh, that's interesting. Yeah, this is not bad. Nose. This is good enough. All right, so this is how you look when you fight and when you run. So these are the characters in personalities, right? So inner personality, social or external personality. So the options are selfless, righteous, humane or kind, moderate or temperate, wicked or ruthless, selfish, evil, right? So if you put your mouse over it, it'll give you a text that further elaborates on what it is, right? What these personalities are, and external qualities or personalities, sort of like family and friends, sect. So in this game, you will be able to join a particular sects or schools for you to improve on your abilities, right? Protective, independent or antisocial, loves family, name, power, interpersonal conflict, I guess, freedom, romantic, legacy or inheritance, and loyalty to your spouse, to one spouse. I'm going to pick the ones that are related to your sect or school, which I think it doesn't really matter, I don't think. And for my inner personality, I'm just going to go with kind. Okay. You can change your name. So this is age. You begin the game as a 16-year-old, and you begin the game with a life expectancy of 80. And as you progress in the game, you can increase the number of your maximum lifespan, right? And so the premise of the game is that you are what they would call a 修仙者, which is someone who's aspiring to become a sage, or a class of creatures or beings that are between human beings and the gods. And as a sage, since the gods are immortal, you are in effect pursuing immortality, or divinity understood as immortality. But in Chinese mythology and religion, in order to become an immortal or a powerful being as such, you must either do great evil or great good. So basically, you're going through a set of Chinese mythologies that are found in this book called The Classics of Mountains and Seas, and you're basically deciding whether or not you want to do a collection of good deeds or evil deeds in order to attain immortality or sagehood, right? And I think that premise is pretty cool. It's found throughout Chinese literature or Chinese fiction. So this is our charm, and this is our current stage, the first level of the initial stage of our training, right? And you can change the name, but I'm not gonna. This name is fine just as is for me. So we can now change our talents. So this is your in-game mechanic or in-game attributes. So individual attributes, combat attributes. These are the physical weapons attributes, and the elemental spells or abilities attributes, and your art or craft or trades attributes. Let's go through them really quickly. So life, mood, health, stamina. To do something or fight someone, you will need to use stamina. Obviously, your life, if you reach your maximum lifespan, you die, pretty much. And mood is affected by a variety of things, especially, for instance, like learning a new ability. And once it gets too low, your character will become negatively affected. And health, I think, is due to combat, and it will affect luck. I think that's what it means. Health, mana, willpower. This will affect. This will allow you to use items in combat. In terms of importance, I think life and mana are the most important. Luck is in terms of the random RNG rolls in the game. The luckier you are, the better, of course, you will be in terms of those rolls. 悟性, which is intuition or insight, this will affect how easily you will be able to learn and unlock abilities or capabilities when you do learn new spells. Reputation, you will need reputation to go through the game. Many of them have reputation requirements. Your charm, right now my charm is pretty good. I think that's quite high. So, the rest are pretty standard. Combat ability, attack, defense, travel ability, basically how fast or how much you can travel on the big map. Your weapons, your physical defense, your elemental defense. Crit rate, anti-crit rate, movement ability in combat, crit multiplier, anti-crit multiplier. And these are the sort of weapons talents, and these are the elemental talents. So blade, spear, sword, fist, palm, finger, fire, water, lightning, wind, earth, and wood. And this is in terms of trades. There's pills, weapons or items, feng shui, charms. Basically, I don't know what this is for actually. Medicine and minerals or mining. So when you're trying to learn a particular ability in the game, when you join a sect or just buy them or acquire them in the game, those abilities will require you to have a certain amount of talents for you to unlock those abilities. So I think that's basically the thing that you need these talents for. And particular sects will restrict your entrance, your ability to enter those sects based on the amount of talents you have in a particular aspect, or whether it be elemental damage or physical damage. And this is qi yun. Basically, okay, so health will affect these things. Okay, so this is your initial luck or your initial attributes, and these attributes will affect sort of your your stats, right? And the red ones are the best, and after the red ones there's the orange ones, and then after the orange ones there's the purple ones, and then purple, blue, green, and gray. It goes like that. So you can re-roll as much as you want, and obviously you're looking for something like 2 red and 1 orange or 3 red. So I'm gonna re-roll until I have 3 red, and then we'll pick it up or re-roll it to an extent where I'm happy, and then we'll pick it up from there. So I've encountered been able to roll a 2 red and 1 orange. Just to show you guys, I'm not gonna go with this. So this one improve. So you can always just select it and see what it does to your character. So this one gives me a lot of wood element and a lot of just basically elemental damage. And this one improves my my movement speed and my travel ability. That being said, my ability to create pills or medicine is not high enough. I want this to be at least around 10 to begin, because it will save us a lot of time, because in order to make progress in the game, because to progress in the game we need to make pills. we're just, we need to extract the essences from nature and sort of infuse those essences or incorporate those essences into our body so that we will be able to overcome certain bottlenecks or limitations in our abilities. So I'm not going to go with this. I will roll again, and then I'll see you when I've rolled something that I'm happy with. So I've been able to roll 3 reds, and our pill making ability is quite high. And we have natural abilities that are pretty good. We have wind, fire, water, sword, blade, spear. Our crit rate is really high. Our anti-crit rate is pretty high. We have pretty good health, and our charm is pretty good too. So one of our attributes is charm is locked at 900. So I think that's probably as high as your charm can go. I don't know. So this will allow us to become friends with other characters fairly easily and make us attractive. But this one is also attractiveness and luck and ability to walk in the game, and this one adds to our sort of your fighting abilities, and it'll give you maximum stamina to 90. It was 80 before, so this is actually pretty helpful. Although these two overlaps a bit, but this one gives you luck, so that's pretty good. This is not obviously the best that it can be, but I think this is good enough. So let us go with this. So we have, in terms of physical damage, we can go with blade, and in terms of elemental damage, we can go with fire, water, or wind, or earth in the beginning of the game, right? So let's start with this. So in Chinese mythology, in the beginning there was chaos, and in order to and the person or the being who allowed the heaven and the earth to become or to take shape was this person called Pangu, and the myth is called Pangu Kaitian Pidi or Pangu Kaitian. And what he does is basically made a demarcation or distinction between heaven and earth, and you could obviously interpret this either physically or metaphorically, right? So he doesn't have the sort of identity. He's not a creation god, as in the God of the Hebrew Bible or the Abrahamic God. Rather, he's more like a super deity or super being of humanity who existed among other deities, and is, in a sense, one of the main forefathers of, you could say, human or Chinese civilization. So the first time you're loading into the game, it will take a bit of time to load all the basic presets of your particular seed. So we enter the game and we start in a bamboo forest, and it will give you a list of things that describe who you are and what you are. It will be different for every different attribute or luck or quality that you pick from the 9 that you could select from, right? I'm not gonna go through this. So you're entering in the bamboo forest, and something is telling you to go into it, and you find a go board, and you walk towards the go board, and there's an old man, and he asks you a bunch of questions, or you could ask him a bunch of questions. Where is it here? Who are you? Is this a go board? And who am I? Where am I from? And where do I need to go? So you're just gonna ask him a bunch of questions, and this is the last question. It will skip all the 3 previous questions. So I'm just gonna do this. It's like, oh, I'll tell you if you play Go with me, and then you're like, sure, I'll play Go with you. And we have the 3 starting items that you could pick from. The other 2 are still in development. We can only pick this one now. It is called the 2-fish or dual fish pendant, and it allows you to revive for a particular amount of times depending on your initial difficulty selection. So I'm on the normal difficulty, the easiest difficulty. You can revive 9 times from this item. It says, when Pangu opened the heaven and the earth, the chaos that existed from the universe or cosmos was transformed into the energy of, or into heaven and earth, and the dwarfish pendant was created from this process. This pendant has unfathomable or conceals unfathomable laws of the universe or the cosmos of heaven, and its particular effects are unknown. So, there might be something esoteric about this, but, to the extent of our knowledge now, we know for a fact that this pendant allows us to be revived. So, there's something, ambiguous about this statement. So we're going to go ahead and pick it anyway. So we're in a bamboo forest. We're trying to look for an exit, and somebody's telling you to go to this mountain, and you're trying to get to this mountain. And this is the notifications. If you are a new player, I'm not going to need it. Just go ahead and walk. There are enemies. We have to defeat them. So the combat system in this game is fairly straightforward. It's more like any 2D sort of scroll game. Reminds me of DFO. It's a bit simpler than DFO. So since my main physical attribute is knife, I guess it has given me knife as my initial basic attack, which is pretty nice. Or blade, I guess. So there's 2 people fighting, quarreling about something, about whether it's better to be good or better to be evil. And a dragon comes out of nowhere and kills both of them. Nice. Well, they're not dead, so you have the option to help one of them. And since we don't exactly know which path we want to take in our journey, either good or evil, we're just going to help them both for now. And after you help them, they will give you an invitation letter or reference letter to their particular sect, and you can look at them, right? And it'll show you their sect, who they are, sort of their talents, and their relations and story, And depending on their school, we can sort of, depending on their attributes, we can sort of tell who they are and where their main strengths are. So I can tell that this person is strong at blade and finger or point. Finger sounds weird. Or fire and water. So if I want to learn my fire and water abilities, and then I'll just join this school, right? So I'm just going to go ahead and save her. And then she'll give me an invitation letter, which is nice. All right, we get nothing, but we're out of the bamboo forest. The person that gave me something, okay, it shows you where the schools are, and okay, as long as you have this item, you can find the sect anywhere you are on the map. Let's gather some information. Sounds pretty good. So there's a town. We can go to the town, right? But there's a cave. Do we want to go into it? Sure. At the beginning of a game, you always want to go to whatever, strange little thing that pops up, right? And we have to fight these bamboo monsters, bamboo-like worms. They're like sort of straw figures, right? So he dropped a bunch of pills, a little bit of currency, and a ring. This ring will allow us to, the first, it says backpack capacity, and the second one is strength of seal. I don't know what it means, but we shall find out. Maybe not. Maybe not. So we'll equip the ring, and it will give us additional backpack capacity, which is always nice in a RPG like this. So we didn't get a chance to see who this person is. So he's good at fist, fire, and wood and water. So it's hard to tell what their schools actually teach. So my guess is that we will be starting with fire either way in our beginning setup. So this is the bar in the town, and we can ask questions in the bar. We can ask where it is, where to make money, how do I make to the next level. So I need to overcome certain bottlenecks in order to become qualified or prepared for the next level. So there's a village that I could go. Maybe they'll have some answers for me. I'm just gonna go ahead and go there. So the old man is trying to open up a path in the mountain. So according to Chinese mythology, Yu Gong Yi Shan, so there's a foolish old man who's trying to get rid of a mountain because he wants to get out of the mountain. You know, there's a lot of mountains. There's a lot of mountains in China. There are, and many of them are very inaccessible. And so people, in order for people to get out of them, they really have to make roads. And so this is an idiom in Chinese where if you're working hard at a task that might not be fruitful, you can describe them as Yu Gong Yi Shan, or Yu Gong Yi Shan, which is the foolish old man trying to remove a mountain. Pretty cool, huh? So the villager says the mountain is actually protecting us from the world beyond, the old man's like, you're not so you want to get out, right? You want to reach your destination. The old man's like, you're not the only one. We've been trying for a long time, and there's a monster that came out who's controlling the mountain and stopping us. And you're like, oh, if someone is controlling the mountain, it could be not a monster, but a god of sorts, right? So we visit the mountain, we'll visit the cave. So there's a natural barrier, and it looks powerful, but it's allowing you to go through it, and you go into it, and there's a particular amount of danger, and you have to fight. So it turns out that this creature is the person who is trying to protect the villagers from leaving the mountain, from opening up the mountain or creating a road between the village and the outside world. And we're trying to ask this person how to get out, right? We're trying to leave, and this creature may or may not want us to leave. So far this fight has been pretty easy. So with certain initial setups, this fight can vary in difficulty. With blade or knife, it's actually fairly easy to beat this creature or being on the first try, which is quite nice. It saves you a little bit of time. So, what? It says that you're hurt and you have to run away. Okay, so it's a fixed setup. You can't beat the monster even if you could, and it's asking us to take a break, rest up in the town. So here is the bar. We've already been here. This is the market where you can buy and sell stuff. We don't need to do that right now. This is the inn or hostel, and we can spend $50 and 5 days to rest up. Yeah, we really didn't get much from that. Anyway, so the game runs on a timer. After 30 days, on traveling or spending time with other people, talking to other people or whatever, you will have to pass the month, right? And random people will come to talk to you if you have efficient charm, as I do, or as my character does. And you can always talk to people on your own, right? For instance, this person whom we saved, we could just talk to them, just chat, sure. So chatting will require stamina, and with a member of the opposite sex, you could talk to them, and it will usually get some stats, get some familiarity or favorableness or favor or friendliness from them. And if we're looking for somebody with particular attributes, we can just sort of drag this down and just look for. And since I'm trying to show you how to do the training with the member of the opposite sex, I'm just going to talk to all of them and then show you guys how that works. So you can talk, and then so after you've become familiar with them so much that you have one heart, you could press this button, which spends 10 days and upgrades a attribute of yours, make you stronger a bit. We don't have. We'll come back to it. So these blue spots will pop up in various sizes on the large map from time to time, and you just walk on them and then press this button, and will help you to train. And you can now we've reached our bottleneck after training, right? So we'll have to come into town, go to the market, and buy this pill. This pill, after taking it, we will be able to overcome our first bottleneck. So bag is B, and then you just use it. So every time you overcome a bottleneck or transcend or ascend from a progression level, you will get basic stats upgrades. And then we're trying to, and after you've overcome your first bottleneck, I's character, you can see that there's two bottlenecks, right? J is the progression. So the first bottleneck, the second bottleneck, and then ascension, right? So after that, after you overcome the first bottleneck in the game, you get access to the town's sort of goodies shop, right? And you can buy a bunch of goodies here, and you can click on them, see what they're like. So this is an AoE attack. This is a basic attack. Looks pretty cool. So these are sort of scriptures or scrolls or books. Books are scrolls that you could learn to practice or train a particular skill, right? So this is finger. How much finger do we? Oh, we're pretty good at pretty much everything except for thunder or lightning and wood. So I'm gonna go with sword for now, right? Or blade for now. So let's buy the blade ones. So the currency, so if you click on this button X, you will be able to equip your abilities after you've learned them. So to learn them, open your bag and just left click, and then learn. And to learn it, it will cost you a bit of time, 15 days, and some currency. And the learning process is just a mini game, and I'll show you how it works. So these sort of little thought bubbles that come out, and the blue ones are insights, and the red ones are sort of demons or aberrations that you want to stay away from. So you want to click on the blue ones with your left mouse button and the red ones with your right mouse button. So now you've learned this first spell, and then I'll come back after we've learned and equipped all the abilities that we've learned. So now we've learned our abilities, we just equip them, and now we can fight the monster again. Not that we failed to fight him the first time, or her the first time. We did succeed. The game just didn't want us to progress without dealing with or learning this process. So let's fight. So still the same demon is sort of a being who can take on human form, but is in reality this big lady with a big sword, or I don't know what to call this. A halberd. All right. So you beat her, and she returned to human form, and she looks at you. Ask her about how to leave. She doesn't want to talk to you. She can't talk, and she left. She left us with a book, and now we can maybe take a look at this book to see what's going on. So we need to kill a 100-year-old tree demon and take its sort of spirit or soul pearl. I think that's how you translate this. Basically, a soul pearl. And after that, we can give the pearl to the being or to the deity that's protecting the mountains, and go from there. So let's see if we can talk to somebody else again. Okay, I think we have enough favor with her. So now we can train with her as a member of the opposite sex. And after she rejected us. Nice. So we haven't become familiar with her enough for her to want to train with us, which is understandable. Although we have great attractiveness or great charm, so it doesn't really make sense. So we're gonna go into the fight against the tree monster and take his soul pearl. Not the nicest thing you want to do, that you can do to a monster, but that's what the game wants. And also, people who like trees might not like the idea of you having to kill trees, even if they're 100 years old. But it just so happens that some trees are particularly freaky looking, and so people think that they're demons, right? Or which is, I guess, understandable. So pretty typical monster ARPG scrolling ARPG game vibes. This is the tree monster. He shoots at you. It's pretty swole, although he needs to work on his bicep. So he dropped his soul pearl, and we will give the soul pearl to the mountain protector in order to leave the mountains. Hopefully he'll let us leave. Well, are they ready now? Okay, so we can only talk to the same character once in a month before if we want to become more favorable with them. So this is obviously the person that I want to talk to, but she wasn't in town. Oh, you're not bad. You're not bad either. Except I didn't find you. Because some characters are more likely to become friendly to you than others for whatever reason, right? Give her the pearl, and so he created a portal. So he created a portal so that the villagers could leave the mountains, but he still wants to protect the mountains. So that's the end of the first storyline, right? The first Yugong Yishan story. Now we're outside in the open world. And I think that's the pretty good place to end the first episode. I hope this has been helpful, and I will see you in the next episode.